Hello and welcome. Let's jump right into it. Could you share a specific project where data helped you solve the problem and what was the main goal you're trying to achieve?
Sure, absolutely. So I'm going to talk a bit about data overwrites and inconsistency in an administrative tool that we developed. So
Awesome.
we developed a tool for clients. It was simple at the beginning, only one user access it, one record at a time to complete a specific task. But as the system evolved, new workflow, added complexity, additional feature, multiple role. Long story short, things got messy and more complicated. And we start seeing data inconsistency and overwrite with different document that we have on our database. So multiple user would unknowingly make change to the same record at the same time, leading to data loss, conflict update, and it starts to frustrate the user, and we had no idea what was happening. So it didn't cost us the client, but it caused delay, inefficiency, etc. So the cause of the problem is that there was no way to track change in real time for the user, so they have no visibility of what was happening, simply because MongoDB, so we were using a NoSQL database, simply stored the latest version of a record with no version control, no historical tracking, and there was no locking mechanism to prevent those simultaneous edits that we had on the software. So this is something that definitely happened. And the solution that we put in place is we decide to integrate what I like to call is a mini-Git for MongoDB.
Okay. And
And
what was your goal? Like what you are trying to achieve?
so the achieve was to first to see what was happening, what was causing the issue, but also we were trying to prevent this data overwriting. Just imagine picture a form where people had to enter data, and then you have another user using the exactly same form, and then you have a lot of sequential action that's gonna take place and get messy, and we didn't know what to happen. So we need to inform the user, wait, there's something happening, and okay, what was the previous data, etc. So what we create from scratch is a versioning data change. So what I call like a mini-Git. So every time someone edit a document, let's say a citizen record of the tool, the system will take a snapshot of the document before and after it. So this snapshot document were stored in a separate collection in MongoDB, in a log collection, along with different metadata, who made the change, so in terms of the user, couple of user agent information, when it happened, which fields were modified. So we mapped through the list that were modified and unmodified, and the old versus the new value. So that was like point one, is like versioning of data change. Point two, what we implement is a visual change tracker tool. Directly in the software, we add like a visual interface to highlight this change between the current version and the previous one, who has done it. And it makes it easy like to track what has been modified or not. And the third thing, probably the most important one, we did some improvement on real-time collaboration. So to prevent conflict, we introduced like a locking system. So when user were now alert, if someone else were working on the same document, on the same data, basically they have like a pop-up of information. Hey, someone is also working on the document. Do you want to continue or not? Just by doing like these three steps, so the versioning of data change, like a track, like a visual tool to see, and this kind of information of what's going on, it helps us solve the problems.
And how did you structure your team for this project? Who was involved in making this happen?
So in this team, we have a couple of developers working on it. So you always have lead like team in terms of technology. Then you have lead developer, front end, back end, and then you have a couple of QA person, UI, UX. So in this project, like our developer Miguel was working mostly on this specific topic with another Mike, which is another Mikael in our team, was working directly with the client, trying to understand what was causing the issue. And they come up with this great idea of implementing this directly. So.
And what was the timeline look like? Like how much time you've spent on solving this problem?
So the difficult part of this one was the project was already in production. So everything was working perfectly. Already have 10,000 of documents in the database. It was being used heavily because it was in administration. So we're talking about like a lot of data used every day. And it took us maybe, let's say, 2 months just to get the proper feedback from the client. We saw like this emerging in a couple of support tickets, etc. And then probably, let's say, 1 month just to put that in a nice sprint, just to make sure everything's the overall let's say start of the problem until solved 3 months.
And while working on this project, like what were the biggest obstacles you faced? Maybe some kind of issues with data availability, maybe some kind of technical challenges, some other challenges you faced along the way.
Yeah, I mean the biggest part is first to know what's happening. I believe like if I have to advise someone on how to solve this, the tip that I will share is like to understand like the root of the problem, you need to improve what we call observability, so visibility of what's happening on your platforms. Building system that anticipate scale and complexity, like versioning, logging, conflict, a couple of resolution mechanisms is definitely important. Also thinking ahead, this project was simple at the beginning and it becomes more and more complex because the client wanted to add more feature into it. So really thinking ahead of what happened when you add more feature, more user, and not only from a linear point of view, but sometimes from an exponential point of view, because this kind of thing happens. So if you can prevent this or try to provision or picture this in the workflow, you can definitely solve this problem. So these were the biggest difficulty in this project, and probably different decision maker, giving you the right or wrong information. So this is also challenging when you're facing with real world application.
And if you could come back in time, what would you do differently if you were to start this project again?
It's going to be like a simple user, but I would spend more time with the final user on this one. We look how they use the software. But by looking, I mean really being behind the screen, behind the chair, and look how they're doing. Like it's like stupid example, like we're building web app, but most of the user consider web app as software. So sometimes they create two tabs and they're working on the same document on two tabs and they think everything's work asynchronously. Where we know it doesn't happen like this, and this from a remote perspective, it's almost impossible to detect this. You have no visibility of this happening. So yeah, really spending time with the user will help solving the issue.
Nice. Okay, and what specific tools, platforms were essential in helping you gather, process, and analyze the data for this project?
So, I mean, the project, like in terms of the stack, so it was a React app built with a Node backend on MongoDB. So, we spent a lot of time trying to see what was happening in the database. So we were using directly Compass just to have a visual thing of what was happening. So this is mostly what as we build a lot of tools to help us do that on past projects. It's not like we're using a particular tool to do this, but like a good example now, you have like Prometheus, which is and Grafana. Those are really good tools to visualize what's happening, to have an overview of all of your different data sets of what's happening in the server. This could definitely help. People don't have the tool internally. This is what I will recommend. Those are open source, super powerful. Yeah. So yeah.
Awesome. And how did you ensure data quality through the process?
Can you be a bit more specific?
Yeah, like how did you ensure that the data you had was the best possible? And did you have some kind of tools you use, approaches you use, maybe some kind of scripts you use to make sure that your data quality during the project was best possible? Or from the beginning, from the gathering the data, you had the data in the best possible form for your project?
Well, I think there's first these were sensitive data, so there is a lot of regulation that we made sure that these haven't pre-ordered the project, what can we store, what we cannot store, what we can share outside,
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of job being done regarding this. Then in terms of data quality, I believe, spending enough time on the architecture phase is really, really important, just to make sure that you don't have too many weird stuff link in all of the you end up with a spaghetti ware from a database point of view. So we spend a lot of time doing this. The challenge in all of this project is that the project evolves. So I like to say that you don't know what you don't know. So in 6 months time, you're going to end up doing this. So it's always having kind of like a fallback mechanism just to double check every time you implement something, make sure that it doesn't cause like a ripple effect or technical debt, but no specific process to double check everything, but really spending enough time thinking ahead. That's what we've done.
Awesome. Okay, let's talk about the future. Like, what do you think will
Cool. I
happen?
love the future.
What will happen in like 1 or 2 years in the terms of new technology, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, gonna sound like a lot of people, but definitely we see the AI happening. And by this, what I mean is like LLM is becoming more and more used every day. It's not there yet. There is some limitation, like learning from the real world, like being able to do like proper prediction. So there are a couple of models now, like GPA, that are in place that are being tested out. It's definitely gonna be interesting in this space. I'm also super interesting about Beam context modular design for everything more related to the real world, but with some information technology too. I'm also looking a lot at the space of advanced medical diagnostic. I think we're gonna end up in a shift to, now we have like a curative medicine. So you wait until people are sick and then you try to help them. We're gonna probably see a shift in terms of paradigm go to preventive medicine, and this with the help of AI. I think it's going to be great. So this is something that I'm looking at a lot. And probably we will see a lot of BCI, so brain computer interface, popping, being used. So you're going to end up with a lot of framework to be developed, interface. So it's going to be an interesting space to be in.
Awesome. And on practical level, like how are you using AI right now to make your work faster or better? Some kind of specific approach, maybe prompts you are using, which are particularly effective for you?
Well, I use it almost every day, just to generate code snippet and test stuff. I brainstorm a lot, actually, in my car or on a public transport, just about like I brainstorm about architectural design and pattern, just to check what's good, what's not good, and the advantage of using this in this specific situation. It's really good, to use it as a personal assistant to automate repetitive tasks like documentation. I mean, we know it's boring, nobody wants to do it, but it's necessary. The moment you start to be more than one developer, you need a proper documentation, and also to learn to simplify like new topic that I'm not like an expert in it. It's really helpful for me to do that. So, and yeah, that's mostly how I use AI at the moment.
Nice. And finally, based on your experience, what one advice would you give someone looking to leveraging data more efficiently in their business?
Again, talk more with the user. I think this experience reinforced like a key lesson for me, in a sense that data isn't just a resource. It's a foundation of trust between user and their tool. So if user can trust their data, everything else. If user cannot trust their data, everything else falls apart. You have by taking proactive step to safeguard it, somehow you not only solve the problem, but you also create like a system or tool that people can rely on with confidence. So that's probably my main advice.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much for being a part of the DDDM
Yeah,
FM
thanks
podcast
for
and
having
answering
me.
all my questions. Thank you.